My thoughts on the new Snow White movie. It just looks like a movie that just really does not look like it's gonna do well, period. And the people that the writers, I thought that let's change this movie into some bunch of characters that don't look like Snow White. That just feels like going, what's the point of having a movie that has Snow White, especially the costumes look like they're cheaply made, and we're supposed to believe this is a new Snow White live action movie? I mean, did you guys really even read what Snow White was, or what the whole idea of Snow White was about? Because if this is a new Snow White, I would just entitle this movie to something else. This could be a different version of the story, or something that actually is a different tale that isn't related to Snow White. So it's a different character that might have a name close to her, but to something else. And the way you replace these people, and I'm not against the people that are playing the roles, it's just that these people do not fit the role of the seven dwarfs. These so-called characters in these new seven dwarfs, if you read the true story of Snow White, you would see how they would have looked. But when you start using terms like you don't want to use this type of terms like that anymore, or you call normal people that look like normal sized people wearing the clothes the seven dwarfs wear, and you call them pretty much magical creatures. Where's the magical creatures at? There's no such thing as a magical creature you have in this movie, unless they know how to do magic. They don't have no magical creatures. It's people dressed up in a costume. It looks like you guys basically, and the people at Disney, the new people that are wanting Disney, you need to wake up and realize we don't want remakes to be made like this. A lot of us doesn't mind. We don't mind if some story is changed, but we just really want a story that makes us feel like it was wonderful. It's like movies like The Sound of Freedom, and how it actually it moved us and gave us a story. It made us sad and happy, but still it had a good message. But not this stuff basically this Snow White remake that looks like from the pictures it just looks like cheap costumes you bought at a costume shop that wasn't open, or they had some old costumes they need to get rid of and you guys just grabbed them. And it really, you gotta ask, do you guys really want to do a Snow White movie, or did you just basically just went and just said, you know what, let's write the worst movie we can, or a cheesy vision of Snow White that just makes you wonder, why do we call it Snow White then? Don't mean to say this, but Disney, these new people at Disney, you need to consider what's more important. Because if the true Walt Disney saw what you did to his company and twisted into your little modern way of seeing things, he'd be ashamed to call Disney anymore. He would flat out tease coming onto you and say, you know what? I mean, right now the true Walt Disney is turning in his own grave to see what he created. And he created movies, animated movies, Disney princesses that were amazing, being turned into this remake junk trash copies of them that are normal but just rip-off visions that don't deserve that title as the Disney princesses. There's just some ones in some different fairy tale universe and they never get a happy ending or ever end up getting married because they don't want to believe in love. They rather be turned into these people somewhere like this new so-called Disney princess end up living in some cabin by themselves with half the creatures basically would rather live by themselves over being happy. Disney, I don't like saying this, but it's time for you new people at Disney to consider what the true Walt Disney believed in, what he fought for, what he basically created amazing things people fell in love with. But these remakes, this is getting old. Nobody wants these remakes anymore. We don't care for them anymore. And that goes for Hollywood too. Hollywood needs to realize too is that even like Disney needs to realize we want stuff that makes us forget about how the real world is. We want stuff that want us to forget about how crappy, Sorry, I mean how bad the world is. Because nobody wants messages and things stuffed down our throat. Yes, if they have a good message, we're cool with it. And it has a good story. But when you pull messages that's just pushing dumb ideas down, I mean not just people, but I mean kids, and forcing kids to believe that they have to think a certain way now because we got to be modern. People, this isn't modern. You guys just taking stuff from the past and shoving it down our throat and calling it modern. You're flat out going, it's like you went to, it's pretty much like you created a time machine, went back in time, took some of these ideas from our past, pushed them into our modern days, and you pretty much came back from those different time periods in the past and said, you know what, let's cut this to modern world. And it's in this to Disney, we don't care about these ideas anymore. We just want to move on from these ideals, go back where we believed in, and watch a good movie or show that actually makes us forget things for a while and not be treated like we all, oh, well, we got to be taught that this and that. So my thoughts on this Snow White movie that's coming, that new live action one, this movie is going to flop and not do well. Pretty much, we just want some good Disney stuff. Something that makes us actually feel like we want to enjoy it, not just go, okay, you know what, we rather just watch the classic Disney stuff, because at least the classic one is stuck to the story. I mean, do you actually like the character and had wonderful stories to them? So basically my idea is just make the movie good. That's all we're asking. And make better movies, please.